5:30. I'll call this council meeting to order on July 21st, 2025. Michelle, would you call the roll, please?
Sorry.
Turn on the microphone. Good. There we go. Okay. Roll call, please. I'm sorry.
Bruce Stickle.
Present.
Dan Schomer.
Present.
Doug Humphrey.
Present.
Dan Verbeck.
Present.
Jody Lee. Present. Karen Wilson. Present.
There's the staff. Would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I have a summer cold, so if I kind of snort, blow my nose occasionally, that's what I'm doing. Sorry about that. The way it goes. Okay, council meeting minutes of July 7th. All of you have a copy of those in the packet. Are there any additions or corrections? We got the appropriation hearing. Do we have to approve the hearing? Chief, we have to approve the hearing minutes too?
Yes.
Okay, we better do that. Would there be a motion to approve the minutes?
Well, unless anybody has any other questions, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as so written.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We also have the minutes from the appropriations public hearing, which was at 5:30 on that same evening. So would there be a motion, if they're in order, to approve those, please?
I make a motion to approve the minutes for the regular meeting as written.
For the appropriation.
Or is that the appropriation?
Yeah, that was-
Oh, we went backwards?
I went backwards, it's my fault.
I make a motion to approve the appropriations of public hearing meeting as written.
Second
The
motion.
second, motion made and seconded. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. That's item number 3, 2, and 1. Okay. May Treasurer's Report. Ariane is here. So, Ariane, take it away.
So with the appropriations ordinance being passed earlier this month, we were able to do the significantly higher monthly transfers posting so that I could apply the full cash correctly. So first treasurer's report for May of 25, you'll see general funds got $175,000 from the plus. Payroll tax fund was in the negative, but that's okay because we got property tax distributions that we come throughout the year to make up for the negative at the beginning of the year. Same with the water sewer fund. You'll see it's in the negative. That's because that bond payment, that's the first, it's paid on May 1st, so it's in the correct fiscal year. Top 10 general fund revenues included sales tax, income tax, and CPRT. Our local cannabis was down about 12 to 13,000 compared to the month prior. But you'll see in the June report, and went back up. We also have here a reimbursement restitution. That was for an insurance claim. So it's just a reimbursement of expense. You go to the second page, top 10 expense categories. We had a lot of bond and interest payments that took up the top half of the table there. And we also ordered a new Freightliner for Public Works. And instead of doing the annual $400,000 police pension transfer at the end of the year, we decided to do a monthly, so we split it up, so it's going to be $33,333 each month. So that's going to be listed in the top 10 expense category probably every report this year. This will help with our budgeting and seeing where we're at benchmarking with the general fund to make sure that we don't have a lot of surprises at the end of the year and we know where we're at a little bit better. The cash and equivalent account balances are at the bottom. Total cash or equivalent as of May 31st, 2025 was $23,002,319.73.
Pretty soon we have some big money. Anything else?
I did also want to, if you look at the actual budget report here, the budget has not been loaded into the system. I'm not really sure when that will be done, but when that is completed, I will provide you guys updated, the appropriation ordinance is passed, so I think we're just waiting on getting it reported.
So we'll know where we are in the budget for just a,
Yes.
what, month or 2 months, I guess. Okay. Okay, anything else, Ariana?
Not for my main report.
Anybody, comments, questions, about anything you see?
The cameras is down, at least a video game came up. That's good.
What's that?
I said canvas went
Canvas
down,
went down.
so but video game came up instead, so.
Yeah, that's usually about 14, so it did go
Yeah.
up about 3,000.
Yeah, not very much, just a little.
Were my reports as two separate agenda items? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Comments, questions, anything? Bring up? Okay, would there be a motion to approve Arion's treasurer's report then?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve Arion's treasurer's report for the month of May 2025.
And June, you presented?
You guys did
Okay,
June
that's
separate, right?
that's right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Second.
Okay, Bruce, repeat you,
Yeah, approve Arion's financial report for May of 2025.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
that was my motion.
Okay, is there a second? Second.
I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded to approve that report. Any other comments? We do a voice vote on that. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, we're good. That's the May treasurer's report, right? Now we move on. Item number 5, consideration of the June treasurer's report. There you are.
Okay, so the second packet here, we have the June. We received our TIF surplus redistribution. That's why our property taxes were a little bit higher. You'll see that's at the top of the general fund revenues table, but also our general fund was in the positive $285,000 for the month, which is pretty good. Our water sewer fund, I'm usually pretty optimistic, but because we have the Strand Engineering invoicing, this last month it was pretty high. It was $187,000. So we were in the negative again for the water sewer fund again for June. Hopefully that turns out within the next couple of months.
Yep, it'll make up.
The property tax, like I said, we had the TIF surplus redistribution. Our interest on our savings account seems to be trending at about $38,000 to $43,000, and the first 2 months of this fiscal year were both $39,000, so we're doing pretty good there. We did have another reimbursement restitution that was for our MEG officer. We get those payments quarterly, and we didn't have a lot of high general fund revenues, but the ones that we did get were pretty significantly higher than last. So that's why we have a tower rental there for $7,800. It wasn't very much, but if you flip to the second page, engineering services, like I said, was $187,000. Other professional services was for the QCOM. We did order a new police squad, and the firewall and migration and services, I don't really know exactly what that is, but it's something with computers, and that's listed under equipment. And then the payments to other funds, as I mentioned in my previous report, is that monthly pension transfer for $33,333. Total cash or equivalent as of June 30th, 2025, $24,283,209.86.
Okay.
Arian, on the 4th of July expense, can we switch that to fireworks expense?
Yeah, I can change the name of that. It just hasn't, we still
Right.
use the same GL that we always have, but,
Okay.
yeah. So I'll make a note to get that changed for this year.
Just that way, if anybody's got any questions in the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a really good observation. So, and we'll just, that's the same GL that we always use for fireworks, so it makes sense to change it.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? This would be passing the June treasurer's report.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the June treasurer's report. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you, Ariana.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, get these things out there. Oh, we still got the bills. Okay, semi-monthly and miscellaneous bills. Doug?
The regular payables for this period were $186,395.14. That included a $54.35 credit memo. The top 5 bills are, once again, Strand for the sewer treatment plant, $125,700. Illinois EPA for the fiscal year 26 payment for domestic sewage, $15,000. Economy Architectural Sheet Metal Incorporated, that's the tile replacement down at the old city hall, $5,725. Millennium Waste for municipal waste and special waste, $4,864.62. And KPH Solar Farms for electricity service charge, $3,628.05. Are there any others on here that anyone has any questions on?
Wrong sheet. Comments, anybody? Question? Excuse my sniffling.
If not, then I would make a motion that we pay our bills this period in the amount of $186,395.14.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to approve payment of those bills. Any other comments or questions about anything we've talked about? Hearing none, we should have a roll call on question, please, Michelle.
Dan Schomer,
Yes.
Doug Humphrey,
Yes.
Dan Verbeck,
Yeah.
Jody Lee,
Yes.
Karen Wilson,
Yes.
Bruce Stickles.
Yes.
Motion carried. We pay the bills. Thank you, guys. Okay, moving on. Consideration, item number 7, consideration of an engineering proposal from Willett Hoffman and Associates for the Rainbow Ridge project. So, we got some people here from Rainbow Ridge. Steve, do you want to start with the discussion?
Yeah, I can start it. Several of you attended the Water and Sewer Committee meeting last week. And Matt Henson and all 3 of you board members from the Water Association, I think, aren't you, Joe? Joe, you're the head guy, yeah. There was good discussion with it. We've advanced it before the entire council now to consider. But what the project would do, would have several different components to it. It's an unincorporated area along Knoxville Road, which is just south of the Conservancy. And the proposal would be that they would receive city water services and would annex into the village. The village would sponsor the engineering, which would qualify for consideration a low-interest funding and loan forgiveness programs by the Illinois EPA. And both of those are through programs which are annually appear in an intended use plan published in June of each year by the Illinois EPA. And that plan then says of the applications which they've received, competing for a limited number of dollars, which ones the state of Illinois through the Illinois EPA literally intends to give funding for. It is difficult in that all of the application materials, which include substantial design work, Illinois EPA review of the design, all that has to be completed in anticipation of receiving some funding assistance from Illinois EPA. Currently, the Water Association, your Water Association, has been marked for deficiencies with the system you have. I think, if you care, if anybody wants to hear about that, but I think we're all fairly familiar with what that is. And EPA encourages you to tie on to the municipal water system, and we're the ones across the street. So having teed it up, go ahead and address any questions that you would have of us, and council back to you. And Matt, if you want to talk specifically about the engineering agreement.
So, Steve gave a good summary, and stuff there. Really the deficiencies with the Rainbow Ridge subdivision, they've just got a single well, so they're on what EPA calls their critical review list for having just one well. Municipal water supplies have to have two, so you have redundancy in the system. The other issue is that they have a hydromatic tank that they use for pressurizing the system and for water storage. That's in a below-grade structure, which at the time was acceptable, now it's not. And the tank is kind of in deteriorating condition, so they need to kind of replace it. So those are really the driving forces for, connecting to Milan. We've looked at the cost of kind of rehabbing their system and keeping them separate versus connecting to Milan, and Milan just makes financial sense, short-term and long-term for them. So, like Steve said, we want to go through the loan program. If we go through the loan program, because of their deficiencies, they have a chance of getting into two pools of money of principal forgiveness or grant money through the EPA. They have a pool of money just set aside for one well critical system. So if the public water supply has only one well, they have a pool of principal forgiveness money that they can distribute out to communities that want to resolve that single well issue. So we're not drilling a second well, we're solving it by connecting to Milan. And then they have another pool of money that they call disadvantaged principal forgiveness, which is what I call their traditional program. So what EPA does is they try to make it most advantageous. So they apply what we call the disadvantaged principal forgiveness first. So they'll take 30% of the project cost and get a principal forgiveness amount for that. And then the balance of it, they'll take a look at the one well critical review principal forgiveness, and depending on the number of applicants in a particular year that's going after that money, there's a potential that, if there's not a lot of applicants going for it, we can get this project down to actually zero cost. There would not be a loan component to it. We get potentially 100% grant funded, but we won't know that until potentially June of next year, what the actual final terms will be. And part of the project too, for those who aren't at the committee, it includes the 12-inch water main down Knoxville, which goes along with Milan's long-term plan. We're running 6-inch water main through the subdivision. In order to get to Rainbow Ridge, we have to go through the Mill Creek subdivision. So part of the project includes, running water service lines just to the property line for Mill Creek. When we get into Rainbow Ridge, we'll run new water services to the property lines in Rainbow Ridge, but we will connect into their service lines at the property line that go into their house, and then we will add water meters for each customer, so each customer can be billed appropriately for their water use.
And as Matt said, it's consistent with our plan. We actually call for another production and/or storage facility on Knoxville Road in that vicinity. The city has already invested in building a 2-mile build-out of 12-inch water main to get water servicing along basically to the north edge of the addition to 106th Avenue and serving the Conservancy. That was not grant funded, that was entirely by Milan local funds. This, because of the deficiency, qualifies monies. The city would have to be the applicant on it. The city would receive the loan monies. The city would also receive whatever, potentially up to 100% of the waiver of repayment. And the city would own the facilities afterwards. And at some point, I think the Rainbow Ridge Water Association goes out of business. You're done.
If you'd like to, huh? Yeah. Everybody except Jody was at the meeting the other night, so yeah. You okay with what we're doing here? We discussed it at length then.
So at this point, is there any out of pocket at this time for the village?
Yeah,
With your
there would be,
engineering.
and actually, in going through it, I sent something to Steve and Sean. If you take a look, I don't know, does everybody have a copy of the engineering agreement?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. On page 2 of the engineering agreement, there's a fee schedule there, kind of middle top of the page there. The cost that would be incurred prior to actually getting the loan, so with the loan program, I know you're going through it with the treatment plan, so it's kind of the same premise, and stuff. You get the loan after you actually take the bids and you actually get your loan agreement. So once you have your loan agreement, then you can start getting reimbursed. So all these expenses that are in the fee schedule, plus all the construction costs, are all loan eligible. They can be included in there. The problem is you can't start getting reimbursed till you get the loan agreement. So the planning engineering, the design engineering, the geotechnical, and then at the last line there, the IAP loan application documents, all of those would be costs that would be incurred before you start getting reimbursement. So that total would be $116,500. Most of those costs would, in order to get on the intended use plan, most of those costs are going to probably be incurred by March 31st of next year. If we get on the intended use plan in June, the goal is to be out for bids in July, and we hope to, probably, I think December of next year would probably be the time in which you would get reimbursed for all those expenses.
So what's the chances that Rainbow Ridge and the village don't get accepted for the program?
Oh, I hate putting, I mean, the only uncertainty right now is probably at the, really at the federal administrative level. They're still actually going through, even though they passed their federal budget for next fiscal year. So that's the money, the federal budget starts October 1st. So the money they're appropriating now, that's the money that will go into all the state revolving fund loans the following year. So right now, they're still working through their, I thought it was probably built into the bill, but it wasn't. They're actually going through appropriations right now to figure out how much money is going to go into all those different programs and stuff there. So they are talking, I'll be honest, they are talking, there's going to be, I've seen where the House is looking at, a 19% cut in funding on the drinking water side, and a 25% cut in funding on the wastewater side, and that's for all the money that goes through to each state's program. So there is going to be, a little reduction in funding. How that impacts, principal forgiveness, we just do not know until June next year.
And the principal forgiveness is funded separately from the low-interest loan. The low-interest loan specifically is a priority listing, and they rank all the applications that they've received. This will rank well, but we don't know what others will be submitted in this fiscal cycle. And once a project is below that cutoff line, there's two things that could happen. It could be resubmitted for consideration the next year, or if there are projects which aren't ready and don't move forward, and the state has money left over. In other words, everything above the cutoff line, and if some of those projects don't move forward, then they drop below it and start prioritizing the projects which are ready.
Yeah, and Steve's correct, there's a priority scoring, and not to go too deep into how EPA scores it, but there's really kind of three components to the scoring. One of it is, if a community has, some sort of, violation. In this case, they're on the critical well, one well critical review list. So you know, they're scoring, they're gonna get extra points that other communities that don't have a violation aren't going to get. The second component is, lack of a better term, project readiness. So that is getting all your permits, whether it's EPA permits, in this case, maybe county highway permits that we may need, getting the construction drawing specifications done, and getting all the loan application documents completed. So that's kind of the project readiness. And then the third component is just demographics. They take a look at, you know, community size, median household income, so you're gonna get points for just, you know, census demographic issues, you know, and stuff there. So my feeling is from a priority scoring, the project is probably gonna score really well. I think if, you know, my guess would be you'd probably get funding first time around just because of the violation issue.
It's serious. So I guess as water sewer chair, I want to let the citizens of Milan and Rainbow Ridge know I don't take the decision lightly. I feel for these citizens that are going to do what they're going through. On the other side, we've got the citizens of Milan that are definitely gonna see an increase coming up on water sewer. But do we, in our budget, have $200,000 just laying around to facilitate the request?
We have the money, but it is not in the budget to spend it. So at the end of the fiscal year, April 30th, there is about a $3 million claim on cash for the water and sewer fund. And those would be cash assets that would be available. But remember that we also have the water and sewer engineering for the wastewater treatment plant. And as you can see, now that is planned to be closed out by this fall. And we know for sure that we are on the intended use plan, just as this project would seek to be for next June. We've received approval for it beginning July 1st. So we now have approval at the entire capital cost of the wastewater treatment plant, including engineering expenses are eligible with some reimbursement. So we will be done this fall spending design engineering monies, and we'll move into application funding through the Illinois EPA's programs, and then the bid letting portion of that project. And during that period of time that's when we've got to bring our rates in line to repay that money over the next 30 years. So it's, it's a huge commitment. It's going to average over $1 million a year from water and sewer fees, the sewer portion of it, to repay that, and that will come from existing sewer customers. Now, in the case of the Rainbow Ridge addition, they are going to be, at this time, water only. They will not see any of that, but they will help if they are brought in. The advantage to the rest of the Milan customer base is we're selling more water and generating more revenue, and we have more users to spread our fixed costs across. So there's a little bit of an upside to it. The downside would be that we get into this and expend money, and for whatever reason, it stops.
That's what I worried about.
Yes.
Is the stop.
Yes.
So basically, what you're saying, this is gonna have to be paid before you even know if it's approved?
Yes. If we're gonna have a good chance at getting a good priority score, there's got to be an investment in getting the application, the design work completed, and get the planning documents and stuff done to get eligible and stuff. So it's unfortunately just the way the program works.
And if it gets denied, then what? We're out the money?
Well, you still have the once the planning's approved, and our goal is to get it approved by March 31st. Once the planning's approved, the planning's good for 5 years. So worst case is, you got the planning approved, you've got the design completed, if it doesn't end up on the intended use plan in June of next year, then we wait and we reapply and go after the following fiscal year. I mean, your project's good for 5 years, so, even though if it doesn't receive funding for some reason for next fiscal year, you can go after it the following year.
So the investment though, is it more than 200,000?
No, what we need to do to get the best priority score we can is we've got to do the planning engineering, and that's to do the project plan report and planning documents, just to get eligible for funding. And I'm on that fee schedule on page 2. The design engineering, that is to prepare the plans, specifications, bidding and contract documents, and getting all of our permits from EPA, county, anything that we need for permits for the project. The geotechnical, we generally do soil borings to see what soil conditions are along the water main alignment, just to make sure we don't have any surprises. And then the bottom one there, the loan application documents, there's several loan application forms that we're going to need to complete. There's some financial information we're going to need to complete, even though we're hoping that there's going to be no repayment of any sort of loan with this. We still need to go through a lot of the financial components of it for the project. So those are the 21,000, the 74,500, the 12,000, and the 9,000, which total, if my math is correctly, 116,500. That's what we need to spend to give us the best shot at most priority points for the best shot at funding.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think our odds are?
They don't change the program, I would say you're probably in the, 8, 9, 10 range if they don't make any changes to the program.
Questions, anybody?
All this money, like Matt, the planning and engineering, and all those 4 items you discussed, that don't get all paid out at once. You start out with the planning and engineering, then you pay the 21,000.
Yeah, we would just invoice you as we incur the
Right.
cost and stuff. But the one that's gonna come first would be the planning one.
Right.
We are gonna, if the council approves it, we are gonna jump on that right away, because we have gotta get those planning documents in so we can start the review, so we can get planning approved by March 31st of next year. And then we'll start in on work on the design work. So I would say, all of those costs there would probably be invoiced, between, after approval through April, May of next year.
Yeah, they don't come right after another,
No,
all at once.
no.
You do one, and then there's a time before you do
Yes,
the next.
it would be spread out. We probably have most of that incurred though by May of next year.
Yeah, it's roughly over 10 months. We would see, now, the construction engineering is literally after the project has been bid, awarded, and then that's your field engineers that supervise and verify.
And then if that engineering plus all the construction costs, once you get to that point, then as construction pay requests come in, our engineering invoices for construction-related work, and stuff, council will approve it. We'll send a disbursement request into the EPA. EPA will send you money, and then you pay out. So you just pay as you get reimbursed.
I guess my other question would be, is if this doesn't go through on their end, where's that gonna leave them?
You ever heard about without a paddle?
Been there.
Your own well that has lots of problems.
Actually, they really don't want to think about that alternative, really.
And Arian, just get you some information. If they're annexed, we're getting that portion, or a small portion of property taxes.
And Sean has researched that, and if you go ahead and cover that, because that is a
Look at all the
positive.
properties up there, there's 22 homes, there's a few vacant lots and stuff like that. If you add it up, you guesstimate 15-16% of the tax bill, to mine, it'd be low to mid 20,000.
And then there is also the Mill Creek addition, which is on that same street. And you have to wind through that in order to get to the Rainbow Ridge behind. And those homes would also have the new water main run right in front of it and services stubbed off. Now, that's the potential that they're in need of public water supply at some point in the future. They may not need it tomorrow. But I would venture a guess that within 5 years, virtually all of them would tie into our system, would be annexed. There'd be additional revenue both for water and sewer, or water and property tax. Now, the other thing that we mentioned on this, as far as if you're looking at, the negatives and the pluses, the plus side is that there would be about $1.3 million of federal pass-through money through the state of Illinois that would be invested into our water system. So we're getting that much of an improvement to our system, and we're extending it farther on out into an area that we're trying to get water main to the growth. So we're receiving in-kind contribution of $1.3 million in water extensions.
I guess the other thing too is, I think that the state EPA is looking at communities that are close by to do this. Okay, so to me, that's worth something also. To me, that's going to be another factor that's going to go into your rating. Just the fact that we're doing, that we potentially are going to do exactly what the state wants us to do. They don't want those folks to be out there independent with the difficulties that might be incurred. They would like people to jump onto the nearest water system. So I think that if you're doing what the state wants you to do, that would be another plus.
Yes, well, good point.
I'm getting along.
The EPA wants regionalization. Regionalization means, getting rid of these smaller systems, connecting them up to bigger public water supplies, so.
Go ahead, Steve.
And if I can ask Sean, you've spoken with Jillian Fowler, who was project manager, infrastructure finance, assistance section of Illinois EPA, and you're able to validate the programs and the funding availability.
Right. She said everything's correct, that Matt wrote up, provided us, and we've talked about. She says it totally depends on the other projects you are competing against. Nothing is truly guaranteed, but all of that is what Milan is potentially qualified for. So, again, it all lines up to what we're qualified for. He said, rating and who else puts it forward.
And it's part of our job as trustees to take the village and make it bigger as we can. And increase population and increase growth, and that's what you're doing there. Of course, you're not going to see it on the census until whatever 10 years it takes for that to come on there. But what, like Steve says, we're going to spread out the payments with more people on it, and that's what our job is, to make Milan grow. And the only way we can do that is people who have an issue like Rainbow Ridge.
Right.
And we talked about that even with the trailer park at Oak Grove. When they were having water systems, they wanted us to bring a line down to there and we could have increased the population there, but there again, a lot of people didn't want to hook on, so it really wasn't feasible for that system. But these people, we had 22 homes and a possibility of more coming right on, so I figure our odds are good like anything else. We're hoping everything goes good with our sewer retention program, and then I think it's good odds on that.
A few ifs.
Sometimes you have to
There are
roll the
a
dice.
few ifs.
So,
Yes.
so do what we need a motion.
To approve the engineering contracts.
Okay.
Those stipulations that
I
we had
will
talked about.
go out on a limb and make a motion
They snap on.
for the consideration of the engineering proposal with the promise that our finance director assistant administrator, and administrator communicate with us, the board, on a monthly basis, where we are at with documentation, moving money around, anything
Right.
about the project.
You gotta fill me in on it. I'm learning. this.
So, I'm just saying, the board needs to have a constant update. Or potentially, we could potentially lose $200,000 of taxpayer money.
You want a monthly report of where we stand with payouts
Betcha.
and so
You
on on the
betcha.
project? That's reasonable.
Because if paperwork isn't filed in a timely manner, these things can fall through the crack.
Yeah,
I will second that motion.
I think these guys are very, very interested in getting this thing done on time, because there are some time constraints to get all of these things done,
I
so.
have one more question.
Okay,
The planning, engineering, the design engineering, and the geotechnical and the construction engineering, how long is that good for? Is that good for the life of however, say it wouldn't go through this first year and we go with the second year? Is all that engineering data still gonna be good?
Yep. The only thing we'll probably have to do if we don't get funding, next fiscal year, and it's pretty easy to do, and stuff. The ITA construction permit, when we do get it, it's good for 1 year unless construction is started. So if we miss the first funding cycle next year and we get funded, let's say we don't get funded in 27, but we do in 28, we'll just have to send a letter down to EPA to get an extension on our construction permit, that's it. Everything else should be good.
And where it says on this paper, scope of professional services, planning phase, design phase, like you said upstairs when we had that meeting about everything has to be done in order and for all this to be done. So as long as we follow the plan,
Yep.
like you put out, and have everything turned in accordingly, we shouldn't have any problem with it.
And I can, if it helps when we do send our invoices in, and stuff, we can give a brief summary. We send it through Steve and Sean, we can send a brief summary so everybody knows where we're actually at in the process.
And there's no other fees or expenses beyond that aren't listed here?
No,
That you're aware of?
other than once we take bids, the construction, but that's nothing up front. You're gonna get reimbursed for that as you go, so.
We would have, unrelated to that, but related to the annexation, we'd have to identify the process by which the homeowners, the property owners, and and I think the language calls for registered voters, both property owners and
Yeah.
percentage.
Yeah, you have to have all of the electors, I think they call
Okay,
them. in the state.
51% of the electors resident in that, and 100% of the properties to be voluntarily annexed would have to sign an annexation petition. Planning Commission would hold a hearing on that, and then the village board would have an opportunity to say go or no go by passing an ordinance.
So for the annexation agreements, we'll have to have a public hearing, and then an ordinance that would pass, I think it's 2/3.
It's 2/3.
Two-thirds for the ordinance on the annexation agreements, so, yes, we'd have to identify the record owners of every single one of those parcels, and we'd have to have the electors that are also, so if any of them are in an LLC or something like that, who are the electors. So I'd have to search that, I guess, if you're directing me to do that. Put together the annexation agreements, get them to the property owners, and then I think at some point when we have enough of those returned to us, we could, yeah. 21 out of 22 are already saying yes, so it's a pretty good number. But we'll put together the right paperwork for that, do a public hearing.
so that'll be, we'll work on that right away.
Yeah, we can get working on that,
But
if that's
what's gotta
council's
be-
pleasure.
Yeah, that's fine, because I think they can all sign one document.
It can be a single
Yeah.
annexation petition.
And I think we're gonna need one with the association, so that we're getting the facilities of the association turned over.
Now, I don't think that we are going to take possession of the facilities. We're certainly not taking the well over, although within the construction contract would be the decommissioning
Yeah,
of those
that's included in the
facilities.
project cost, all the abandonment, decommissioning of the existing system.
Right, but everything else would be line replacement, the lines between the homeowners and this new city water main, that would be, I think the hydrants, the water meters would be included, the corporation cocks to close those off, that's included. But am I correct in saying that the homeowner is responsible for the expense on their private property, the service line?
If they want to replace, we were gonna, at least the plan is the service that's from the property line into the home, we were going to reuse that service unless the customer, wants that replaced. EPA, with the exception of the lead service line replacement program, they don't pay for anything on private property other than they will pay for the water meter.
So does the homeowners association have an easement in the front of the properties for the utility areas, the utility lines? Do we probably want those turned over to the village as part of the agreement?
Yeah, I assume the right-of-way where the mains are
Right, the
located
street
are
right-of-ways.
probably township right-of-way.
It is, but with the annexation would become the city's.
Yep.
Okay.
One other thing, real quick, I got thinking about your question there, two small things. One, with the planning, when we get our planning approval, we'll either, I'm not sure what you had with your treatment plant, probably you had a preliminary environmental impact determination where you had to have a public hearing. You can get a categorical exclusion if there really isn't any environmental issues or anything like that. If we get a categorical exclusion or a PEID, there will be a small public notice that has to go into the newspaper, so I'm not sure what those small public notices, the PEID would be a public notice for a public hearing. A categorical exclusion would be a small public notice, basically giving a summary of the project, and if you have any comments, you send them, either to the village or to the EPA directly. The other one is they're all notices. We will, even though we could potentially get down to not borrowing any money from the EPA, we still have to get a loan agreement from them. So we have to do a authorizing ordinance, which will need to be passed by the council probably later this year. Once the ordinance is passed, it has to be published in its entirety, and stuff there. That one's a little bit longer document. If you've done it before, you probably could research, see what your local paper charges for that publication. I would assume both of those publications hopefully would be less than $500-$600.
Yeah, each one will likely be a few $100s.
Okay.
Michelle, you see those come through.
So,
Mayor's got 1,500, he can pay for it.
we'd be fronting the money. How about interest on our money?
So we've got a motion and a second.
Something to think about. I just brought that up as
I'm gonna go out on a limb with you, Karen. Hope he doesn't break on us.
Okay, motion was made and seconded. We've had a good discussion. I appreciate you guys bringing some very interesting points up. So is there any other questions or concerns or statements to be made?
I think Matt's done an excellent job leading Rainbow Ridge on their journey here, and he knows his stuff, and I think we have a good chance to get what we need to get the thing accomplished, so I don't see any problem with that.
Okay, the motion is made and seconded, so we'll call the question. Michelle, would you call the roll on the motion, please?
Doug Humphrey.
Yes.
Dan Verbeck.
Yeah.
Jody Lee.
Yes.
Karen Wilson.
Yes.
Bruce Dickel.
Yes.
Dan Schomer.
Yes.
Motion carried. We're on the first step.
Congratulations.
Let's say a
Go
little,
have a beer.
let's just say a little thing, you know.
Keeping my
Did it
fingers
cover
crossed, trusting you guys.
I'll get it, yeah, you
Need a
have
little
a
faith, I
blessing.
have faith in you guys.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay,
get through.
let's,
Thank you, everybody, and I do want to thank Steve and Sean, they've been great to work with through the entire process. I know the mayor was at our big meeting for the public
Yeah.
as well, you know, and stuff, so appreciate the support throughout the
it's
process.
been kind of a long process, we'll see it go, and we'll get updates when it's happening too, so.
We all like to thank you too, because they've been great to work with.
Good. We appreciate that. Well,
Well, communications
we're
is-
interested in expanding the village a bit
Right.
too, and that's a good
We're
direction.
interested in becoming part of it.
That's a good direction to go. You can maybe move further. Next thing we want to do is get Pinnacle.
Good luck on that.
Thank you very much, guys, for coming.
See how much water they use in Russell.
We have bailed them out before when they needed water, with water trucks, a long time ago,
I
yeah.
would say communications is key, as long as you're communicating with Steve and Sean, everything's good.
Okay,
We don't require to stay.
Thank you, everybody.
let's get back on track, guys. Okay, thank you very much.
They're gonna have to go on the.
Okay.
$1,000, we're gonna make that.
Item number,
Sign.
you've authorized me to sign that.
Then if we get, you know, a ring around and take the rest.
Yeah, right.
Get done.
Okay, we're gonna go, guys. Consideration, that was taken care of, item 7. Consideration, that took a long time. The purchase of an ATS all-tire supply balancer in the amount of $15,999 for Public Works. I know very little about this, the need for it. Steve, anybody?
Well, this-
Sean, where'd Sean go?
He's with the guys. Bruce will
That
know.
way.
A balancer is like when you, for your wheels, get the
Yeah, I know.
weights collect on that. And what that part should come, what, a tire changer? Are they looking for that too, I would think?
That was my understanding, but I really don't know anything about this, other
Well,
than, you know, what.
That's what
is
this,
in front of you.
a balancer, what ATS
That's just
supply
about
balancer.
balancer.
And the balancer and the tire changer, they all come together as a unit. So
Normally.
you're changing a tire and then you're putting over here on a balancer.
I don't know
Yeah,
much about it.
I can't
I
explain.
can't speak to it either. I don't know whether,
Well, it's certainly a labor saver. I mean,
Does
you
it-
Well,
know,
Does
not running
does the
stuff
village
out
have one now?
Do what?
Do they have one now?
I don't know if they have one now. I've never heard of them having one, and so, but you imagine how many tires you have to change when you got that. Now we're going over to,
Hughes.
Hughes Tire for $3,000, buying tires and then changing the tire, taking it off the rim, put it on the rim, then to balance it. If you can do a lot of that in-house with a tire changer or balancer, you're gonna save a lot of money
Yeah.
on something like that. Now, whether they have one there, I've never heard of one.
I just wondered if they had one now and it was wore out or they needed a new one.
I don't know.
I don't think it's so critical
Yeah, let's-
that, I don't think anybody here tonight can answer the questions I'd like to hear the answers to, so.
I would too. That was my
Can we
original thought.
table it?
Yeah,
Yeah, you can
make a
table.
motion to table it.
I
and
will
we'll
make
move
a
on.
motion to table it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made, second table, that'll be brought up in 2 weeks
Right.
at our next meeting. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Thank you. So that'll be on the agenda for next time, Michelle. Item 9, consideration of purchase of a new Dodge Ram with a stainless steel dump bed and box spreader with a 10V plow for Public Works. Woo, big number. I don't know much about this.
Well, he ordered one truck already, didn't he, Steve, that he's waiting on?
Yeah, and in your
Is it-
packet, you have a one sheet that breaks down pricing that he got. And he shows a Ford F-550 Super Duty, which the base bid on the truck itself is $6,000 more from Sutton Ford than Kimberly Chrysler's Dodge Ram 5500. And then there's Monroe for the dump bed, which ironically is also his 7,000.
Right beside me.
Yeah. So, his total is about $6,000 difference between the Ford and the Ram, after all the outfitting.
Is this replacing something?
Yes, I don't know which item. He has a schedule that he presented. He keeps updated and presents his schedule of equipment and his replacement schedule, and this is part of that.
That's part of that schedule?
Is part of the
Okay.
schedule and
Didn't know that.
included in the appropriations.
Okay, did not know that.
Yeah, 'cause he just replaced one truck that was coming in. I don't think it's got here yet, because we have the cab and the chassis, but we're still waiting on the other part of it, because we paid for the cab and the chassis, if I remember correctly, and now the rest of it has to go to Monroe, which is the dump box, the hydraulics, and all the other components that go into that. And so, to me, it looks like he's looking for a second truck, is what he possibly is looking for. But if you're
Well,
not
the-
comfortable with this, you could always table this too if you
The,
want.
the other truck is back in the appropriations because it was approved by council last
Right.
year. And so it was actually ordered last year, but we
Right.
have to carry the set aside of that money because we're into a new fiscal year. So this is a new truck, a new batch of money.
That's what I thought too, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like a little more information about it too. Is it replacing a truck or what are we doing with it?
Yeah.
It does replace a truck.
It does replace another?
Yes.
How
Can
old
they
is
get
it?
us some information on exactly what they have that's in their fleet? As far as,
Yeah. He
as far as
has,
how old all these vehicles are?
yeah,
So we can take a look?
yes. Yeah,
That's an idea too.
and,
It
What do you
seems
think?
like we're spending a lot of
Pretty good
money on
idea.
vehicles.
Table it?
We can, yeah.
Yeah.
These both came up just kind of quickly, I guess.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion to table it until we can get ahead here to ask those questions.
Because I think it'd be good for council to look
Yeah,
at
yeah.
what's
Get
in
an
the
idea.
fleet
It's been-
and the ages of it and, you know,
Yeah,
how
I
many
agree.
miles is on this equipment and.
Well, that's a good idea, because you got your balancer on this thing too, and I'm
Yeah.
going by what I think it means, but that doesn't.
We need better
necessarily be
information.
So,
We haven't had an update for a while, Dan, either on the age of some of these things. That'd be a good idea to have all that at our hand before we make any, it's a large purchase.
Yeah.
Before we make any other decisions, so. There was a motion
I'll make a-
from, Dan motioned,
Me and Karen.
okay.
and
To
Karen
table?
seconded to table this item.
Yes.
Motion's made and seconded, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Bring this
We'll
one back.
table that for 2 items to be tabled for next time. We should have more information so we can get by those kind of quickly. Consideration of the True North proposal from Strand Engineering in the amount of $9,250. Strand Engineering, they're our engineers on the waste treatment plant. So, Steve, this is just another amount?
It is, but first I'd like to offer clarification that 10 and 11 are actually combined. 11 was the alternate proposal, but the recommendation by both Strand and staff is to accept the True North and reject the professional environmental engineer's proposal. And so we're suggesting awarding it $9,250 and not the $20,463.
Sounds good to me. That's saving $11,000. I'd rather
You
do
betcha.
that. This is part of the engineering, so we need to.
Yeah, it is. It's the proposal for lead-based paint, asbestos, and hazmat survey services before the work starts at the wastewater treatment plant.
Are you just
So
looking for
any-
an approval on that?
Yes,
tonight?
looking for approval on number 10.
Number 10.
I would like to make that motion tonight to accept the $9,250 one.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made second to adopt the True North proposal, Strand Engineering, in the amount of $9,250. Any other comments? Hearing none, roll call, please. Michelle?
Dan Burbeck.
Yeah.
Jody Lee.
Yes.
Karen Wilson.
Yes.
Bruce Stickles.
Yes.
Dan Schomer.
Yes.
Joe Humphrey.
Yes.
Motion carried. Good deal. So item 11 then, Steve, you're saying just to
I think in order to clean it up, we should have a motion to reject.
reject item number 11.
I'll make a motion to reject professional environmental engineers' proposal of $20,463.73.
Second motion.
Motion made and seconded to reject item number 11. Well, I won't repeat all that other stuff. Would there be, I think a voice vote, okay. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Very well. We'll move on. Item 12, consideration approval of bid from Miguel's Construction They're the same people that did the work on the softball complex, right? Did a good job. For the Camden Center Ski Lodge, in the amount not to exceed $30,000. Were we talking at one time that our guys were gonna do that?
There's some of the cleanup that they can do, but this is putting it out to bid.
Okay. This is
This is in lieu of it doing it in-house.
in lieu of doing it in-house.
It would be prevailing wage, we're required to charge that,
Yeah,
or pay that.
okay. Discussion? Anybody?
What are we doing
What are they
here?
doing?
This is for the ski lodge. We talked about this.
I wasn't.
I know, yeah, that's what I mean. So,
You guys all have the bids in your packets though, that details what it's going to be. What it's going to be.
Okay.
Estimated ski
Oh,
lodge,
okay.
719.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 windows,
There it is.
put defenses on 4 windows, which is, to protect them against entry. Remove siding and windows, put ones in.
Sean said window siding doors.
Trim doors, gutters.
window siding and doors, that sounds like suburban construction.
That's, we're not advertising.
You gotta keep in mind that
Okay.
nothing's been done to this lodge for a long
Yeah.
time, right,
And
Steve?
we
Yeah.
talked with Jeannie about it several times, and she has said that it is rented fairly often.
Yes.
And it
What
needs
is it,
some updating.
50 years
Oh,
It
probably.
was,
since it's been there?
it was circa 79 or 80 when it
Oh,
was
that's
built.
good.
I was managing there.
13 or what, yeah.
Were we going to do anything with the plumbing?
I know that Public Works did the bathrooms
Okay,
and reset fixtures.
okay.
Yeah.
I've lost track of that. That's been a while back, but that was one of the things that was needed, certainly, was the plumbing inside.
Well, in order to get this rented out even more often, you gotta keep up like we did at the Camden Center. You gotta keep up your facility.
Better shape it is.
So
better be-
people
better
want
be-
something decent and nice to look at. I remember I was a manager there back in 1982.
Really?
Yeah,
Jeez.
Renell Daniels. I ran that all summer long.
It needs some work.
I was a sophomore in high school.
And it hadn't been changed since then. That's how, it was rough shape then too.
Yeah, it was.
So
Okay.
this is this the lowest bid? Then how many bids did we collect?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's another question.
I don't.
It just showed up.
Well, you can answer that question next council meeting when Jeannie's in here, if you wanted to.
Table.
The other thing, I think you talked about having a park committee meeting coming up soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That coming up before the next meeting, Dan?
yes.
Do you want to run it through your park committee first? And
Sure.
Sure.
And do that.
We can do that.
Gonna have a lot of.
I make a motion to table it.
Table it.
29th, yeah.
Is there a second to the table?
I'll second that motion.
Motion's made and seconded to table item 12. Get more information again about Miguel's construction and this bid. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Very good. Okay, we've got 3 items to put on the next agenda. Or is it 2? Yeah, 3.
Three.
Okay, consideration of the request from the Harvest Day Parade, the Harvest Parade Labor Day weekend. Is that the application? I don't have anything. Is that in the packet?
No, they
The
haven't submitted anything.
EA
submitted
committee
anything.
member called me before the meeting. Karen Schweikart, the person in charge of the parade, is ill. Lori Cole, another person on the committee, was not able to attend. They would like our motion to allow the parade to happen. Lori is coming in to the office tomorrow to pick up the insurance form so that it can be paid. Or
Same.
she'll bring a check to
Saturday or Labor Day weekend, the same way they want to do it.
10
They've
a.m.
done it before.
You're here Wednesday, right?
No, I'm here tomorrow. So I'll be here
Tomorrow?
tomorrow.
So I'll tell her to bring you a check tomorrow.
She takes care of that. Nothing comes through the village.
Okay, that's right, it goes through their insurance
Yeah.
company.
Yep.
Yep.
I just have the form for her.
So all they're asking for is approval to have a parade
Yep.
Yep.
I make that a motion.
under the same conditions that they've done
Yeah.
it before.
Police and everything else, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
motion was made, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and made and seconded to approve the Harvest Day Parade for this year, same conditions as before, with police protection and all those kinds of things. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, let's do it again. Consideration of an F1 liquor license for Masala Cantina. This is the old Cactus building. There, as I understand, it's going to be an Indian restaurant, and they want the same kind of license that Cactus had. This allows, it's a restaurant license, so it's not like we're approving anything for any gaming machines. This does not, they don't go together. We've already taken care of that situation, so I would approve this. I would like your blessing, I guess, just to put it in the record. Would there be a motion to approve this license?
I'll approve that license for you. Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the F1 liquor license for Milan Masala. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. That's a restaurant license. We have several. They like to have a drink with their Indian food.
They ain't got games, do they?
What's that?
They ain't gonna put slot games in there.
No. There wouldn't be room for one. Okay, committee reports. Let's go to committee reports. Dan?
I don't have anything.
Okay, thank you. Jody? Karen?
I have nothing for months.
That's a shocker.
Bruce?
Nothing right now.
Oh, you're giving me the finger. Why are you giving me the finger?
Water, sewer, line, insurance.
Oh, yes. Water, sewer line,
It's
insurance
been approved. I've signed it.
has been signed
Should
by
they-
the mayor.
As a matter of fact, I just got one from another company about the same time we did that, so their other companies know that they can do that.
Do we know when it's gonna be put on the website?
I'll ask them that, I'll see, did they sign it on their end already too?
What's that?
Did they sign the agreement on their end? Do we have a fully executed copy back?
No.
Okay.
Oh, from them? I've signed it.
Yeah, I didn't know if they've approved it on their end. So once we get a fully executed copy.
Okay,
back.
good idea.
Right.
So the American Water is not the right one?
There's no right or wrong.
No.
Oh, so you just open it up to anybody?
This other, is that the one that I got too,
I
probably?
have, I have American Water.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to be without
Okay,
if we decided something. But
I didn't know.
anybody can get
Yeah.
anything they want.
The other
We're
one-
just sending out a
This
notice.
company has somewhat the same name, American Water
Yeah.
something, so that was a little bit confusing to me too. But the one we're sending out, or that this company is sending out, is very clear with what they have and the rates and everything on it.
okay.
So, should be there. Okay.
But
And it's up to everybody to have.
happy to say, we met the August deadline
Yes, we
on
did.
the project.
Yeah.
So thank you to Sean
Again,
and
it's a good thing, we have customers and Milan residents who have an option to pick different levels that they want. And again, if they don't like that company, and they want to shop around, they're more than free to pick like a company you have and pick another company out.
absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, I made sure we got that all done. Haley took care of most of it.
Yeah,
Girls
we
in
did
the
a lot of
office.
like
Girls
work.
in the office took care of it,
Sean
so.
also.
Okay, Bruce,
Nothing.
Dan.
Yeah, we're gonna have a park board meeting July 29th at 5 PM, right here. We'll make sure that we get the notice posted. Michelle's gonna take care of that for me.
Okay,
That was a
July
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday, I'm sorry, yes, that's a
July
Tuesday.
29th?
Yeah, and that should work out for this estimate too, for
Yes,
the lodge.
that's a good idea. I'm glad we're having it there. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, everybody got notice of that? The notice is
5
up?
o'clock.
Perfect.
Very good. Doug?
We're going to have another meeting of the Finance and Purchasing Committee, and I'm tentatively looking at the Monday in between the two council meetings. I don't have that date right, I think it's like 16th or 15th.
What's today? This is the 21st, so it'd be the 28th, right? You're
No.
talking about the off Monday?
No, it's between the August meetings.
Oh, the August meeting.
Is it
I
the
don't know what that would be.
15th or 16th?
It would be the
11th.
11th.
Okay. It'd be
Okay.
the 11th.
So you get that notice out to everybody?
Yeah.
Put it up?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Steve, anything else?
Nothing.
Okay. Would anybody in the audience wish to address the village board? Do we have a
One
list?
thing real quick, potential streets committee meeting, we're looking at August 7th, most likely. We're waiting on answers from their end, from HVAC and Brand and stuff. Their engineers out of town until that first week of August, and then more other guys on their end that come to our couple times a
still going, huh?
So, yeah, so August 7th, street committee, potentially.
Okay. We'll get the notices out properly for
Yeah,
everybody.
once I hear from their side, completely, then I'll verify it.
Was
Sean?
anybody on the list?
I was just going to say too, while you stepped out and covered the engineering business, we did table the purchase of the truck for streets and also the tire balancer. So those can be agenda items for further explanation and then bring it back to the council
Okay.
meeting.
Yep, I'll let you be.
Okay, time for citizens' opportunity. Is there anybody on the list, Michelle?
Kim Gibson.
Pardon?
Kim Gibson.
Yes, ma'am. Come on up front, please. Give us your name and address.
Okay.
Oh, you're fine.
Clean up on that.
Kim Gibson.
Yes.
Milan resident. I have to tell you, thank you for putting on the police reports on the minutes. I am grateful for that you've now added them to it. And also, thank you because you have all asked really great questions tonight. I am impressed. Before, I didn't think, but I am impressed with the questions that you have all asked tonight concerning subjects that you have
Okay.
tabled. Okay, so I really am. Because with the dump truck, I asked my husband, how often do you change out equipment for the company he works for? He said they have a contract every 10 years. Some equipment, 20 years because of the expense. And
It depends on a lot of factors. We'll look at those too.
I was
Okay.
just wanting to say that.
Okay.
I appreciate it. And I'm trying to stay within my 3 minutes, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Okay, my question is water. I've heard water rates are going up.
Yes.
Okay, and in the 5 to 10 year plan, it talked about water, grants, things of that nature, community input, community participation. For those, because I know not everybody has been on the committee here for more than 5 years, does anybody feel that they, looking back now, should have went after the grants that were so plentiful concerning water, sewage, things of that nature, infrastructure, as now the grants aren't plentiful, as you are aware. And in the 5 to 10 year plan, at least 20 times it said the board going after grants was hit upon by the people who went to this large meeting that you had for the village of Milan about their hopes and dreams in the 5 to 10 years, besides the community assisting in different ways, such as parks and things of that nature, because I've asked to assist in parks for free. So my question is, do the ones who have been here for more than 5 years, do you wish you would have went after the grants that were available at the time that would have helped the village of Milan? And now we have citizens all over the country who are just trying to make ends meet. I've been behind a woman in Dollar Tree, an old woman in Dollar Tree, and she's spending all of her money on food because that's what she has. And I'm hoping you're not thinking that is a terrible question to ask.
We didn't have a project at that time, but I understand your question, but I don't have a comment to it. Does anybody? No, we don't have to
Steve,
respond.
can you comment on low interest loans?
Well, low-interest loans
We're going after grants.
with forgiveness are a little bit different mechanism, but accomplish the same thing because they're bringing federal and/or state monies into it. And while all those are still tax dollars, they're still coming from businesses and residents, but it's coming at the state and federal level with our local municipality getting its share. And I think we've touched at last Tuesday's Water and Sewer Committee meeting other than again tonight that we referenced it. And so, I think we're actually very successful in bringing those dollars into the community so that they aren't coming solely from the rates. But we're also required to meet federal and state clean water standards in both water supply and wastewater treatment. And so those standards determine, and the life of the equipment. You mentioned trucks and replacing the trucks. We have a wastewater treatment plant that it was projected to have somewhere between a 25 and 30-year life in 1967 when it came on the line. And due to good stewardship, we've been able to extend the life of that plant. And now with help in assisting that, those are the kinds of things that we can do. So even when we talk about Milan rates having to go up, even with an increase, Milan rates are still far below most comparable communities.
Way
Both
below.
larger communities and smaller communities, same size. We're very cost effective. We're very, very efficient in producing water and sewer services to our
I know
property
that
owners and
rates are
businesses.
low. It's just a lot of people
Oh.
struggle these days, and not only that,
Way past 2 minutes.
you have, okay, I'm sorry.
Well, we are. I'm just trying to follow the rules. I understand your
I- no,
concern.
I'll-
No, I understand your concern, but we have done everything we can to try to make our equipment last as long as it could, especially equipment, because it hauls a lot of things that are pretty nasty. And we're very good stewards of taking care of that equipment, and we'll get a report like Dan requested next time of when we have a plan to replace things in a certain period of time too. So I think we have been doing what you are talking about. We have not gone after grants at a certain time because we didn't have a project for them, because they're very project specific too. So, you see,
Like you said, this is all EPA driven. You
This
know,
is
it's not
all-
like we're doing this just to have something to do. EPA is driving us to meet the requirements that are now in place. And so EPA has been watching everybody as time goes by. So, yeah, so it's just like have inflation on groceries and everything else, and you have inflation on this water with the EPA. If we don't meet the requirements of the EPA, and if we don't raise our water rates in order to meet those compliance, then we're all gonna be shut down. So it's not that we don't have any choice. You have to raise water rates to help everybody pay for it, and it's not only homeowners, the businesses have to be kicking in on this too, see? And there's other ways we can do to lessen the amount for everybody, is if we wanna put in different stages of some people who use more or use less. So it's not always a done deal in that either. But yeah.
you're going to be getting a letter
Yeah.
explaining a lot of this in the
Yeah, you
next
get
few
a letter in
weeks.
every water bill
So-
explaining why we're doing this
Right.
and what's driving.
Okay.
I was just asking because
Oh, sure.
back in the day, there were so many, and I read the 5-year plan, when everything was so plentiful, I was just looking, and,
You have to have a specific project, which we didn't have until this one came up that we have to do. We have no choice. That's totally what it amounts to. We have to do this.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's almost like safety with an airbag, There wasn't airbags, but when the need was called for, they put airbags. Now
what
the
you're gonna
need
get.
for a sewer, fix up the sewer plant is called for, so.
Okay, thank you very much, Kim. Any other business? No, we're past our agenda. Any motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
Second.
I'll second.
Is there a second? Oh, sorry, Dan. We're out at 10:20. Yes.